What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we are going to be doing another mock the mock, then continuation of it with Sanchez 1.0. So if you guys are new, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun YouTube jazz. I would love to hear from you guys down there, as well as in the Discord, link down in the description below. So without further ado, let's kick this off because you guys don't want a long intro. And honestly, I don't either. Keith Sanchez is pretty new, relatively, if I'm not mistaken. He came on last year. So I think his first one was Wan'Dale Robinson in the first. That was like his marquee thing. So we'll see what happens. Starting off with the number one pick, though, we got Will Anderson Jr. here out of Alabama. Again, if you really just want to believe in Davis Mills, or you just simply do not believe in this year's class or are hoping for next year's, then this is a logical thing to do. Again, he is one of those players that you don't get every single year. You know, he's better than the edge rushers we had in the last class. So I give a thumbs up for this. Honestly, I think that edge rush you have Okonkwo. I'm I'm thinking that that's how you say Okoronkwo, something like that. He had a field day versus Trevor Penning, so that's a good sign. You at least have a really good start to your franchise in terms of your defensive front. But Will Anderson's just another level. Yeah, that's just simply put. He's an absolute freak, and we've known it since his true freshman year. Actually, I was watching Liam Eichenberg, and I was like, "Who the hell is this Will Anderson guy?" Turns out it's Will Anderson. So, yeah, big fan of that pick. Atlanta going Jalen Carter here. I just don't see the value of an interior defensive lineman at 2 anymore. He's number 6 on my board. He is really, really talented, but unless you're Aaron Donald, it's very rare that you're going to be worth this high of a pick. I think top 5 is fine, but again, we're nitpicking here, to be honest. But when you're looking at it, that top 3 is designed for players who are going to be on your franchise for 15, 20 years. Like, they're going to be there for a long ass time, and they're going to be making plays. They're going to be what you are willing to give top dollar for. And Jalen Carter could be that. I just don't think interior defensive lineman is exactly the position where the investment at this high of a level is going to pay off the way that you would hope for. But we have already seen that Jordan Davis is already paying off, and Jalen Carter performed much better than Jordan Davis did there at Georgia. So big fan of that one. Number 3, the Bears going Jackson Smith and Jigba. I swear, if I took a shot every time that happened, I would be straight up shit-faced drunk down in the middle of the street. So it's a little bit annoying because it is kind of like the plug position. I think wide receiver is something they need to address in the offseason and free agency. I think offensive line is something they need to go as well. Honestly, I don't know what the hell the Bears do. If they're at number 3, I would be just trying to fix the defense because that's a strong suit at the top of the draft. JSN is just not that good of a wide receiver to take at number 3. Simply put, he's not worth it. So he's not going to be there. He's not going to be taken there. Just let's be honest here. He's not athletic enough to be worth that type of a pick. You're not Jamar Chase running 4.38 40 and being absolutely dominant all the time. Let's be real here. He had a really good game versus Utah. He's a solid ass wide receiver, but he doesn't have what it takes to be on that Jamar Chase level unless he can somehow beat Cooper Kupp, which that is his top ceiling that I cannot see him reaching. But again, hoping that he does reach that because that'd be awesome, especially for the Bears who are desperate need of it. My number 1 player in the draft, Myles Murphy here, going to the Carolina Panthers. I don't think they exactly need to target edge. They might. Again, we're doing deep dives on every single team, which is going to be great. But you can never go wrong with it. It's, again, a very high value position. But I would be looking at QB at that point. Again, you've tried to address it in the free agency realm. Didn't work if you guys are here at 4. And again, I'm not saying this is how the teams are going to be ranked. I have my own series where I'm going and predicting every single game. You guys can go check that out. It is a very poor performing series. It is dragging the channel down, but I make it for you guys anyway because I know a lot of you guys find it fun, and it's always fun to look back on. So again, feel free to support those and be able to give me your thoughts. Week number 5, we're back in that. Number 5, the Giants go Bryce Young. At number 5, you might as well take a shot on it. You pair him up with Evan Neal again. That would be a really, really smart decision. Number 6, Butte. I already know Mark's going to come in. Time to take a shot. Kayshon Butte to the Jaguars. I think wide receiver 1 certainly is something I want to target. Do I think it's necessary at 6? No. I think there's a lot of really good wide receivers that end up falling because of the fact that it's such a deep class. Now, they might not be wide receiver 1 builds, but I'd rather take a shot on Xavier Hutchinson in the 2nd or the 3rd than Kayshon Butte in the top 6. I would much rather use this. Probably, like, I'm trying to think back to what, like, linebacker's not good in this class at all, nor is it worth a number 6 pick. Like, you could try to address the offensive line here. Not exactly a necessity, but I think that it is something you could do. O-line's never a bad place to go. I personally would trade out. Cornerback 2 wouldn't be a bad option. I really do love Tyson Campbell, but I think that you can have a number 2 quality corner at number 3 as well. Like, I just think there's better value, but again, I would still give this pick like a B+ if it happened. I hope he stays healthy. He obviously didn't play much last year because he got hurt, but he's a very talented wide receiver. Lions go Will Levis here. I don't even have him in my top 50. He's not worth it. I'm sorry, Lions fans. You're going to end up having some more mediocrity. I mean, for a guy with a big-time arm, he doesn't make big-time throws. 15 last year and had a shit ton of interceptions, and he couldn't beat out Sean Clifford. So I really have absolutely no faith in Will Levis, and I hope he proves me wrong because, again, I would love to be proven wrong like I was on Justin Herbert. I saw like a late one on Justin, but I thought that Justin could have been a big bust. Will Levis doesn't even have the potential that Justin Herbert does. And I think a lot of people are trying to force themselves to like Will Levis because he has a big arm. But if you really thought that Malik Willis would have been taken a lot earlier, there's just guys who were a lot more qualified even last year over Will Levis. Number 8, we have the Seahawks going Voorhees. I guess we'll tease number 9 right there. But Voorhees, my number 1 offensive lineman in the class. Glad to see that Keith agrees here. I think that would be an excellent move, honestly, for the franchise. It's a guy who's a bit older. I would personally rather go Anthony Richardson, take a shot on a QB. CJ Stroud, hell. I mean, you guys know I don't really like CJ Stroud that much. But, I mean, I think that's a little bit better value, and I'm an Andrew Voorhees fan. I'd rather go after someone like Osiris Torrance in the 2nd round than Voorhees here. So that's going to be a little bit iffy, but I mean, we can live with it. Voorhees is an excellent player. Outside of the guys who are available, assuming that this is the best player on the board, I think it's fine. You can never go wrong with addressing the O-line. Commander's going Anthony Richardson here. I think that's phenomenal. Super raw, super athletic, just dominant dude. I honestly think he's going to be the number 1 QB in the class. That's my bold prediction. He's going to overtake Stroud. He's going to overtake Young by a long shot. Dude's throw motion is so compact, so fluid, so quick. And he has the strongest arm in the class, and he is so athletic. He's 236 pounds at 6'4". 236. Ridiculous. Love Anthony Richardson. I really do hope that his mental processing can really take that next step because this guy is I'm willing to take him number 1 even if he doesn't perform at that level and just sit him a year. I swear, I think that's worth it. Jets go Paris Johnson here. With the Mekhi Becton stuff, I honestly don't blame him. I don't. So, you know what? I'm not even going to bitch and moan about this. I don't think Paris Johnson's a first-round type of talent. I don't think he's proven it at tackle because, I mean, well, he's been a guard. But he wasn't even that talented as a guard, in my opinion. He was a lot weaker as an offensive lineman than a lot of people would say. We were having Thayer Mumford here in the 1st round last year, and he fell to the 7th. I don't think Paris Johnson takes that big of a fall, but I think he's still a 2nd-round talent, and that's not bad. Granted, the class is not that great, so it's not that bad to go Paris Johnson, but I'd rather go after someone like maybe Broderick Jones to be able to be the right tackle. Fant wants to be left, or Anton Harrison if you want to move Fant back to right. Steelers go Eli Ricks out of Alabama. I think Eli Ricks he was like number 10 or number 11 on my DBs list, but he was one of the top performers in zone coverage. So I will not complain at all about that. Again, I think he fits very well. His issues come with personality. and hopefully that gets resolved. But I could easily see him falling to the second round because of that. And he's not an elite athlete. So again, I think that when all is said and done in the future, if he performs at a very solid level, he'll be there in the second still. Because again, personality concerns and athletic limitations, but he's perfect for the Steelers. Really do love that for him. You got the Patriots here going Bryan Bresee. I have a third round grade on him. I think he's lazy. I don't think he's very athletic, to the point where people think he is. Like people talk about him as a plus level athlete. He didn't show anything when he played last year. It's like everybody's like salivating over what he did 2 years ago. Sounds a lot like a player from LSU and Derek Stingley, but Derek Stingley still flashed some really good talent last year. Bryan Bresee he was the second best interior defensive lineman on that Clemson front. Like Tyler Davis looked better. So again, he has injury concerns and he's lazy. He doesn't look very polished. I'm really not a big fan of Bryan Bresee at all. I would not be surprised if he's not going to be in first round mocks in 2 months. I would not be surprised at all. But number 13, Philadelphia Eagles go Bijan Robinson. I think it's a phenomenal move, honestly. I would probably try to wait to the second pick, given the fact that the Dolphins don't really have a pick to poach. But, he is absolutely phenomenal. Like, he is top tier. He's not the most elite athlete in the world, but he's still an excellent athlete. He has a fumbling problem, but again, people can solve that. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor, who some consider as the best running back in the NFL, he's kind of solved that issue and put it to bed. 14, Jermaine Burton. I think this is a very probable pick. I could definitely see it happening. Jermaine Burton might be able to take a big step this year by going to Alabama. 15, Cardinals go Keely Ringo. I think that's a phenomenal move for them. Really, really good option. They brought in Jeff Gladney. If I'm not mistaken, rest in peace to Jeff Gladney. But, I think that Keely Ringo would be perfect to fill in that void. Vikings going Peter Skoronski. I'm actually going to be doing the Vikings video very, very soon. So we'll see if the tackle need is absolutely that desperate. I don't think it is. But if you want to get Peter Skoronski and say, hey, I'm going to put you in the interior of my offensive line or the exterior, you're going to be not a swing tackle because you don't draft that in the first round, but you're going to be my Swiss Army knife. I'd be down for it. I would be. Because again, you're investing in the offensive line. It's a mid-first. That's where you kind of want to take shots. I really like Peter Skoronski. I think he's a early second to late first talent. But that's because, he's 294. That's why, guys. He's just not big enough to be able, or nor polished enough to take that step to the NFL yet. But we also have another year of play. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited. Gervon Dexter to the Raiders, I think, is a phenomenal move. They have him listed as an edge over at PFF, which we're going to go to it. I'm just going to have a quick disclaimer. I hate PFF's mock draft simulator, but honestly, nobody else has a good one. And it costs about $10,000 to $15,000 of just pure revenue to be able to build one that's possibly better. And that's not my own estimate. That was an estimate that was given to me. So it's going to be a little bit tough if we actually want a better mock draft simulator. It's why we use TDN, even though it has its moments where it sucks. Let's hope that they get everybody's account back online for the people who have accounts. Oh my goodness. They deleted everybody's account, which a lot of people, including myself, paid for year subscriptions. So we'll see about that one. But let's continue on. Gervon Dexter is a beast. He's my only other in round one interior defensive lineman. Texans go Jordan Battle here. I think that'd be a very foolish move. Jalen Pitre is already looking like a baller, which I gave him a top 10 grade. He might have ended up in my top 5. I'm thinking about it, he might have been maybe 6. He's definitely in my top 10 grading. I had him as a blue chip. I didn't put him in my top 10 because, again, value at safety / slot position. But yeah, it's looking like at least I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with my safety grading system. But Jordan Battle definitely did not grade out well. He's kind of a jack of all trades, but not really, and master of definitely nothing. He just doesn't bring much to the table, in my opinion. Colts go Jordan Addison here. I think that'd be a phenomenal option. You have bigs. Now you can have a really, really dynamic threat right there. I'd be a big fan of it. Somehow CJ Stroud falls to number 20. And as much as I want to say CJ Stroud should be at number 20 anyway, there's way too many quarterback needy teams that can take a shot on him. So, yeah, that's very unrealistic. And if the Eagles are in the playoffs with Jalen Hurts, I would still be fine with it, but the necessity's not there. And it might be a blown pick. But if CJ Stroud's there, take the shot. You might as well. Cowboys going Quentin Johnston. I think that's a great move. Obviously, they kind of screwed themselves over, and it makes sense with TCU being like right next to Arlington. So yeah, the Cowboys will have a lot of Quentin Johnston exposure. I told you this about this last year. This team likes to draft dudes who they watch quite often. So yeah, I think that's a great move for them. Again, their wide receiver core is kind of mush at the moment besides CeeDee Lamb. Seahawks going Tyree Wilson. I am going to be 100% honest with you guys. I don't know enough to make a legitimate comment on him. And that's something that will change as time goes on. Again, just got out of the internship on Friday. So, we have most of these guys studied. There's guys like Tyree Wilson that slipped through the crack. I haven't heard much about him. So we'll see if this is just another Juan Bale in the first situation. But hey, I mean, it makes sense. Seahawks blow a first round pick on, someone who should go in like the third or the fourth. Cincinnati going Cam Smith. They're going back to the DB room. So according to their first, second, and now their next first round pick, they're going to be going a safety, a corner, and a corner. I guess that's where you really need to address it. I don't really think there's very much else you could address. Maybe if you want to like potentially not pay Jonah Williams, you go Anton Harrison here, but it is the way it is. Dolphins going Jahmyr Gibbs. I'll say I like it, but it's very unrealistic for this one reason. You are running a very dynamic offense that relies a lot on the run game of multiple people. Like Jahmyr, if you're drafting a first round running back, you are going to need him to be your bell cow. And one, Jahmyr's not that. But two, this offense, I mean, the McDaniel offense thrives off of later round running backs and maximizing their usage. So it just doesn't really make sense. For me, I would like to look at another big here. Xavier Hutchinson's on the board. If Quentin Johnston's on the board, I would 100% get that. And you might say, Alex, that's crazy. You have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Cedric Wilson. Why do you need a big? Bigs just offer a new type of dynamic that safeties have to be aware of, corners have to be aware of. It's just a different style of receiver that you have to prepare for. And that means you can't just call umbrella style defenses that could protect against the speed guys. So it just offers that nice versatility. But regardless, let's continue moving on. Caillou Blue Kelly to the Ravens. We'll see if the Ravens need an exact corner three. They always make it work with their dudes. Marlon Humphrey's a beast. Marcus Peters, when healthy, is a monster. I think they can make it work. I don't think they need to go corner. Again, I see Xavier Hutchinson on the board. I see even A.T. Perry on the board. Hell, that's probably where we're going to go in round 2. I have a later round grade on A.T., but again, for a team like the Ravens, that could be a guy who is worth a lot more, given the fact that, well, you kind of need a big. And Rashad Bateman, I don't know if it's going to hit that, but I hope he does. Packers going Xavier Hutchinson. I actually saw this before because I wanted to build the mock draft ahead of time. So I would usually be like, holy shit, like someone else put Xavier here. He's my number 1B wide receiver. And it's very funny because people just don't love him the way that I do. And it's nice to see this here. He's 6'3". He's an elite smooth route runner with great hands. He needs to work on his release package. And he's not the most athletic guy in the world, but like when it goes up against Mario Goodrich, he can toast him. So I'm thinking probably around 4.5 flat, which is still good enough to be a wide receiver 1. I mean, I'm pretty sure AJ Brown was in the 4.5s. It might have been 4.44. Regardless, I think Xavier Hutchinson is going to be a phenomenal wide receiver. So I'm excited to see that. Henry To'oTo'o to the Chargers. I think that would just be a mistake. I really want someone like Noah Sewell to be the guy who anchors the middle of that defense. I think Henry To'oTo'o would just be a little bit too close to the way they were with Kenneth Murray. but I have a second round grade on him. He's going to be drafted possibly early second just because there's no other linebackers in this class except him, Simpson, and Sewell. And that's going to suck because your team's probably going to reach on him because there's a need. And I hope that free agency is good for you guys to where you don't need to reach on someone like that. But Noah Sewell to the Lions is a big plus. I have him being a first round linebacker. The only one I would say the big issue with him is tackling. He has like over 20% missed tackle rate. It's pretty huge, but he's good. He's good. Isaiah Foskey to the Chiefs. Now, I'm sorry for like continuing to spam you guys with this. That's interesting because I think that's a great move because you already have an established presence there in George Karlaftis. That could be worth it. I have a fifth or a fourth round grade on Isaiah Foskey, fourth to fifth. I don't really see it. I don't see the technique. I don't see the ability to play the run nor the pass. I think Drell Shawmy is a better version of Isaiah Foskey. Same weight, similar size. I would say that's a better move. But I understand a lot of people love Isaiah Foskey. We'll see. We'll see when all is said and done. Buccaneers going Michael Mayer. I think that's great, especially if Tom Brady ever wants to return. It literally is bringing back Gronk, who is super successful in their offense. I have him in around like number 49, I think, in my ranking system. And this is a team where I think that's where you're willing to take him. I think it's a very solid tight end option. Bills go Simpson here to end off their first round because, again, you guys don't remember, Dolphins lost their first and a third because they tried to tamper with Peyton as well as Brady. So I think this is solid. Again, a super high ceiling linebacker in a very poor linebacker class. So again, there's a lot that I don't like about Trenton Simpson, but hey, you're in an environment where being the weakest link isn't such a bad thing because everybody else can uplift you. I'm excited to see how that is. So let's jump right in to the mock draft. All right. So starting off the second round at pick 32, I do not like that, is the Texans. And they got Will Anderson, if you guys don't remember, in round 1. So when you look at the guys left on the board, they actually ended up getting Jordan Battle as well, if I'm not mistaken. Again, there are some dudes in here that had to be substituted because PFF can't get their shit together and get an actual roster up there. We're all frustrated at this point. We'll drag my ugly mug up there to the top, but now that you've addressed DB as well as edge, I think wow, I would just love to go after Garrett Williams here and get another corner. This class is just so good on the DBs. I actually want to look at Broderick Jones here, though, because I think Titus Howard should be kind of that swing tackle for you. And it's never wrong to continue bolstering the O-line. I think Broderick Jones is just that good. I really do. He's a phenomenal player. I would look at a quarterback like Tyler Van Dyke, but again, like honestly, there's nothing bad about going a right tackle there. And Broderick Jones, Laramie Tunsil, Broderick Jones, Kenyon Green, and hell, you could put Titus Howard at guard. I think that might be the best case scenario for your team. Falcons, though, you went Jalen Carter in the first. I'm going to be going after a quarterback here in Tyler Van Dyke. Surprisingly, he's really low on the PFF board, but TVD, you haven't drafted a quarterback. He's going to be the guy who you can take and just feel comfortable. I think Miami's going to have a great year. I think that TVD is going to have a great year. I'm really projecting him into that first round. I think he's going to be a top 10 pick. Number 34, the Bears went Jackson Smith and Jigba, and they are so lucky that Mr. Keith did not draft an offensive or did not end up taking a guy who deserved to be in the top 10. Anton Harrison. He started 3 years so far at left tackle. Well, by the time he gets drafted, he would have started 3 years at left tackle. He's young. He's really damn good. And he even knows his own weaknesses. He's been trying to address his power issue, which I think he's done a great job at. So thumbs up, Anton Harrison. You're kicking ass. Number 35, we have the Panthers. Honestly, I don't think they need really any help besides quarterback. And Tanner McKee is a really solid option. Actually, the more I think about it, I kind of want to go Tanner McKee here. Again, remember, they went Miles Murphy in round 1. So we're going to go Tanner. Excellent leader. I think that he doesn't offer much more than someone like Baker Mayfield, but again, it's a second round pick. You're taking a shot on someone that could end up really elevating your franchise. The Giants need safety help big time. I know this is potentially another slot corner, so kill me now, but Antonio Johnson is just that good. He is just such a versatile piece. I love him to death. Number 37 with the Jaguars, you know, I wanna take a quick peek here. So we already went wide receiver. I'm just gonna go through it like this for you guys. I think again you could go after a corner. Like there's nobody good on the defensive interior or linebacker, and obviously we're not gonna try to bring more people into that edge room. I mean, I would really be considering going Brian Branch here because he can just be everywhere. You could put Tyson Campbell on the boundary as well. Joey Porter's a fun one, but I love Brian Branch, and I think that he's just such a nasty playmaker. I'm gonna go with him. I am. So let me know what you guys think about that, because you could put Brian Branch honestly on the outside. He's locked down one-on-one coverage. I think that would be great. Again, very similar skill set to Tyson Campbell in that aspect. Very excited to see what you guys think about that. With this pick, I know that you guys like the corners on your team, but I really do want to continue investing in it. We're going to go Garrett Williams here out of Syracuse. He's not a safety. He's a corner, and he's worth a top 10 pick, in my opinion. He is one of the most sticky guys in coverage, so that's where I'm going to go. This pick here, we're sticking with the DB theme. We're having 4 DBs go in a row. I don't think he's even on here. Christian Gonzalez. I think his first name's Christian. He's now Oregon's corner. I actually saw a little bit of him in the spring game when I rewatched it. This guy is sticky. Sticky. He's big. I'm a big fan of him. We're not going to be taking Storm Duck in this, so I'm going to be substituting him with Storm Duck. But again, that's going to be Christian Gonzalez, corner out of Oregon, the Ducks, if you want to keep it, if you want to remember it that way. Number 40, you got the Commanders. They ended up going after Anthony Richardson in round 1. This could also be a defensive back pick. Like, I legitimately might take another defensive back here. Looking at their franchise, looking at their roster, linebacker is a concern. Not going to draft it. Offensive line, never an issue. Like, they just always know how to draft more dudes perfectly. And they're at the point where you can draft later round guys to develop. Running back, that could be addressed. You got JD McKissick there and Antonio Gibson. I'm trying to think. I know you have Brian Robinson there, but there's just nobody. Like, Devon Achane would be great. I'm not going to put him in here, but there's nobody like Sean Tucker. I really don't think. Like, Sean Tucker, Blake Corum, Deuce Vaughn, that's JD McKissick's role. So it's really down to Blake Corum, Sean Tucker, and I'm going to go with Sean. I really do think he could be a 3-down back if you need him to be. He has that momentum to him as well. He graded out as RB7, but I really do think that he's going to take it up another notch. Guy has a lot of talent. Big fan of him. Jets are on the board. Jets might be number 1 overall in the draft. Them or the Bears. When you look at it, they don't need much. They already went Paris Johnson in the first. So, again, they don't need much. Maybe like a linebacker. And I'm literally just about to do the Jets video. So we'll have a little bit more informed opinion very soon. Tight end might be the place I want to go, though. I think we're going to do it. Eric Gilbert here. Take a shot on him. I have Sam Laporta way higher, but Eric Gilbert just has that Kyle Pitts potential. So, again, that's where I would be sticking my flag. The Steelers went after a corner in round 1 with Eli Ricks. This pick, I honestly would look at an edge rusher, and you got Andre Carter here. He's just too damn good to let slip. I have a top 15 grade on him. He's just so athletic. He's a freak. He is actually on Bruce Feldman's freaks list, so excited to see that. But, I think the Steelers could be a big landing spot for him. He's ridiculous, has a lot of potential, but is more scheme specific to wide 9, which you basically line up really far outside the tackle. And that's more of a Jets thing. So maybe the Jets could have taken him, but maybe next time. I think that Eric Gilbert's really good value. For the Patriots, God help you guys. You have Tyquan Thornton on your roster. I don't even know who else to get at this point. You could get Josh Downs as a fun option, but man, I don't really know what to get you guys. I'm literally just about to I'm about to do your division if you guys can't tell. I just did the Dolphins video. Like, damn, I don't really know what to go with for this team anymore. I think that Drell Shawmy probably is your best choice though. Again, you got rid of Chase Winovich, and you need somebody who could be that backup edge. Drell Shawmy has just so much potential. Talked about him earlier. He's kind of like, my opinion, the better version of Isaiah Foskey, but I have like a early third on him. This team, like Bill Belichick, needs to that's a perfect spot for him. So Drell Shawmy there to the Patriots. The New Orleans Saints, who gave up their first round pick to end up going up for why am I tripping? So they got Penning as well as Olave. They didn't really give it up necessarily. Kind of did. Regardless, this pick after who they address in the first? Who they do it? Oh, they didn't. I just said that. Wow. That's lame. I think you could still look at offensive line. And I really want to go in the interior. They don't have them in here, but I'm going to go Osiris Torrance. So we're going to draft Caleb Chandler. We're going to draft Osiris Torrance out of now Florida. He's just a mean blocker and somebody who's going to just elevate your game overall. Super high ceiling. Big fan of what he brings to the table. The Titans. I'm going to look at offensive tackle. Who's still available? Robert Foster wouldn't be too shabby. I'm actually going to go Olusegun here. He's not a tackle. He is an interior offensive lineman, but I think Michigan's going to play him at tackle. But he's somebody who played center for Virginia, and I just love that versatility. And this team needs help. So I'm going to go Olusegun here. He's making a show for the first time in the mock draft series. So big fan of that. The cards here, they already went, they don't really need much. I would go running back. I wouldn't pay. Well, actually, Chase Edmonds is gone too. Devon Achane, he's going to be 4.2 speed. He might be taken in the first, but that's a team that could, tell me about it. That just feels Cliff Kingsbury right there. So I definitely love that. The Vikings already went after a solid offensive lineman in the first. Got Lewis Cine last year, but I still think safety has some really good guys on the board. Jalen Catalon, even Brandon Joseph in his own aspect. I'm not a fan of Brandon Joseph. For me, you could go a corner here. Actually, that would be a good idea. We're going to go Joey Porter. Again, you don't have Jeff Gladney. I'm pretty sure he passed away. So, again, rest in peace to him. But, you're kind of you're in need of a true corner one. Joey Porter, to me, is a top 10 player in the class. I haven't taken him for anybody else because I really haven't seen the exact need for it. You could say for the Patriots, but I don't know. I didn't really feel the need for Patriots at that point. Regardless, even if he were gone to the Patriots, I would still look at Tyreek Stevenson, who is a baller, who might be this next pick as well. But for the Raiders, offensive line still is a need, in my opinion. Still is. And again, looking at the guys available, I'm just not comfortable taking one of them right now. I'm really not. I like Javon Foster a lot. He just doesn't fit this scheme. Running back could be the best position to target, but I think it's deep enough. We're going to go Tyreek Stevenson here. I have a first round grade on him. He is 212 pounds and moves really well, sticky in coverage. I think that people are sleeping on Tyreek Stevenson. Number 49, the Browns are finally on the board. And, I think that there's not much the Browns need, to be honest. I'm going to go after another edge rusher, though. Looking at it, we'll take ZTF. I love ZTF. He's the only other round one worthy edge that I have. BJ Ojolari is the guy who can probably try to push that a little bit, but ZTF has so much potential. He just needs more experience and more polish, which with a great mentor like Myles Garrett is possible. So I like that. For the Colts, they still need a tackle, man. They do. Robert Scott's a guy who I would consider here. Javon Foster could be a guy who works really well with them. Blake Freeland feels like a Colt though. So we'll go with it. I have a third round, I believe maybe like maybe early fourth on Blake Freeland. He has a lot of potential, but he's still piecing it together. I think that's a good spot for him. 51 for the Eagles. You guys have gone CJ Stroud and Bijan Robinson. I think edge rushers certainly in the books for you guys. And looking at it, Derek Hall might be the guy I'd target out of this group. And it is actually going to be Derek Hall. Lots of potential right there. He needs to develop a little bit more, but very solid player. Cowboys went a wide receiver 1 in round 1. I think offensive line should still be a position they do target. I wish Christian Mahogany should be included in this. He's not going to. He tore his ACL. Unless he's getting super hype, he's not going to be picked. He's going to go back. So we're going to assume that he goes back. I'm going to go Layden Robinson here. Again, kind of like the on sale version or like the Walmart version of Kenyon Green. But still, early third quality player. Very solid. Has his moments. 53, the Seahawks are back on the board. And who do we go with them for this round? We actually went after a corner. Oregon Ducks, Christian Gonzalez. See, that's also why I do that. Helps me remember. But we've gotten a quarterback. Who do we get in the first? We got a quarterback with Will Levis. And then who? We got Voorhees. We did not get Levis. We got Voorhees. I forgot about that. And then we got that edge rusher out of Texas Tech. So that's on me. Regardless, I didn't really like the quarterbacks at that point anyway. The guys were gone. So it's not like it's going to change my mind on where I go with this. I think quarterback would have been a great option, but it's not there anymore. I don't really think anything on the offense is going to give me what I want. I want to probably, he already went after edge though. There's not much this team needs to address at this point. Maybe you can go another corner. I'm going to go BJ Ojulari here though. I think if you go 2 edges, that's perfectly fine. I think BJ is better than the guy in round 1. They didn't expect for him to fall to him in round 2. You need to continue bolstering that edge front. 54 with the Bengals. I think that they already went corner again. I would look, man, I don't really think this team needs much, to be honest with you. Tight ends where we're going to go. And we're going to go with Sam Laporta here. I like that pick. Again, it's not a position where you exactly have continuity. So getting somebody like Sam Laporta, who is ranked in the top 25, might be number 26. He is going to be able to just transform that reliable target to something that you can always have there for you. San Francisco, finally on the clock. They're going to do what they want to do, man. And I think Robert Foster is just, he's the guy, or Javon Foster, excuse me, is the guy who I'm going to be continuing to put for them. He's such a good zone blocking tackle. So rock with it. Dolphins back on the board. Finally, again, we already went a running back in round 1 with Jahmyr Gibbs, which would have been the easy option here. But I think Chris Abrams-Drain could be a dude who you do bring in, just adding extra juice there. Tight end, you run multiple tight ends, but man, I was talking about wide receiver 1. I think I'm going to go A.T. Perry here. He has a lot to love about him. I don't exactly feel that personally, but I think A.T. Perry at 6'5" could really just tone it up for the team and give Tua a bigger, more reliable target. 57 for the Ravens. I have a weird feeling I just tripped up. Oh, wait, no. I was like, wait a second. So the Ravens went after a corner in round 1. I think they could still try to attack maybe an edge position here, but I'm not really that worried about it. I'm actually going to look at running back. I am. Because you have, obviously, running back at Ohio State that I'm tripping up on right now, but you don't exactly have someone like Blake Corum or Deuce Vaughn. I think that might be your best return on your investment. I really do, because thinking about the team, safety is still stacked too. There's nothing I could really complain about with this team. You get Brandon Joseph's depth, but I'm gonna go Deuce Vaughn here. He's 5'6", but he graded out as my number 2 running back in the class. He's really damn good. So having another dynamic threat there with J.K. Dobbins, there you go, is going to be the best thing that you can do. So the Packers, apparently, they finally got a receiver. Not Tyler Harrell, Xavier Hutchinson. This is where I'm going to possibly take Brandon Joseph. I think that his ability, his potential is what's going to get him drafted. And I just hope he becomes the guy who I used to love. Like, I really loved what he used to bring to the table. 59 with the Chargers. I would still look at a tackle here. Like, Robert Scott wouldn't be too shabby to put out there. I'm not a huge fan of Zion Nelson, just going to be honest with you guys. But I'm going to look at running back here, and I'm actually going to go Blake Corum out of Michigan, adding a really nice thumper there to add in with Austin Eckler. Yeah, Blake Corum has some juice. I'm a big fan of his. Now, the Rams on the board, whew, you know, I just love when Javon Foster's there. Easy pick. He's not. So when you look at the guys who are on the board, thinking about guys who would be good for this team, you could go after a tight end threat. You could. I mean, to be honest, we're probably never going to be, they're not going to be taking this pick anyway. They'll probably just trade it away for something. Man, I mean, you could look at another running back. I really wish that they had something better, like a better way to lay this out. I'm actually going to go Tyler Davis, though. I think that he's a really nice pass rushing threat from the interior. It's going to be a good way to get a good return on your investment. The Chiefs are on the board. I think that the Chiefs could, I mean, they went edge round one. That kind of sucks. I think going a receiver like Josh Downs would be fun, though. You add a really nice weapon there for you to use anywhere. I mean, obviously he's a slot weapon, but he's very versatile, kind of like what you would hope for with getting like another Tyreek Hill-esque player. He's worth this pick, so I think I'd be rocking with that. Pick number 62 with the Buccaneers. You went tight end round one. I think going after a high ceiling player might be the best choice with this pick, but also you need continuity at running back. I think Zach Evans is a baller. Again, this is the running back round. There's so many really good running backs. That's where I'm going to go. And ending off the round and this draft is the Bills, where I think safety like Jalen Catalon, regardless of his injury history, should be taken at. So that is going to be the draft, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.